Hello everyone. Happy Monday. Thanks so much for stopping by for Make It Monday with Lori Staley, Addicted Stamper. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 17 years now. This morning I want to share with you this beautiful butterfly bouquet. I just made a tongue twister out of it, didn't I? This is the last sneak peek because this product collection launches tomorrow for our customers, Tuesday, March 2nd. So I wanted to share one more project with you. And first, let me just show you all of the products that come in the collection. Of course, you have this beautiful stamp set, and it is all one piece, right? So that is really cool. You ink it up and you stamp it. I recommend the Stamparatus for that. And you get all of the images in one effort. You also might notice these cute little pieces I have stuck over here. They're the pieces that I punched out of the stamp, and don't throw those away because I saw someone make the cutest animal print background just by putting all of those pieces on a clear block and stamping them at one time to create her background. So always look at your scraps. You never know what you might see in them, right? Then we have the Brilliant Wings dies that of course coordinate with the stamp set. And look at this. This big die cuts out all those butterflies. It's a little off here because the stamped images on the case aren't quite the full size of the stamps, but you can get the idea. So we have a great Bigs die, and then we have two small butterflies and a few background images, and then check these out. Look at all the detail in those dies. Aren't they beautiful? So you can cut these out of cardstock. You can cut them out of designer series paper. You can cut a layer to lay on top of designer series paper or even your stamped images. They are absolutely beautiful. So I know you might be saying that, oh, another butterfly stamp set or another butterfly bundle. And yes, it's true. But we did have the butterfly in a touch of ink. We have the fluttering, I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, the fluttering butterfly set in the January through June mini catalog. And we have, I think, 2 or 3 butterfly stamp sets in the annual catalog. But I hope you agree with me, nothing like what I just showed you, right? Those are pretty cool. In addition to that bundle, which we'll be carrying over into the annual catalog, this is just kind of a launched sneak peek, if you will, that you can get your hands on before that annual catalog launches in May. They are also launching 2 separate packs of paper. One is a 6x6 pack, 6 different double-sided patterns, 8 sheets of each. So it's a nice quantity of paper if you want to replicate a project that you're making. You'll have lots of paper to do that with. Here are the patterns. This little butterfly pattern also coordinates, some of those images coordinate with the butterfly duet punch. And then we have pink camo on the back. These look like monarch butterflies to me with the cloud. And then a cute little calypso coral pattern. Some Flirty Flamingo and Blushing Bride and Bermuda Bay butterflies. And then a really pretty Bermuda Bay pattern. Rainbow butterflies in that. And then a sky, right? I see some calypso coral, some bumblebee, and some maybe daffodil or so saffron. Look at that one. This is extra special because, you guessed it, you can line up your Bigs die to cut out all those butterflies. And be sure when you do that not to throw away your edges, right? You can use this as an edging on your card front or snip them out and put them like they're flying off the page. Just really cute ways to use all of your scraps. And then on the back, another beautiful sky. This one actually kills me because I love this side. It looks like our blending brushes were in play. But I also, of course, love this side and the ability to use the Bigs die to cut that out, right? And then some cute, gorgeous grape or Highland heather and Bermuda Bay butterflies and some more camo. So that is the 6x6 pack. And then we have this Nature's Touch paper, right? So it is a really nice wood grain paper. It does have a sheen to it. I'm hoping the camera's picking that up for you. It is single-sided as far as the wood grain goes. On the opposite side, We have a more matted, there is a slight, almost looks like texture in the paper. The closest I can say is it's a little bit of a So Saffron with some orange added. At least that's how it looks to me. Doesn't have quite the sheen. There actually is some texture you can feel on that paper. You can stamp on this. If you're stamping on the sheen side, you want to give it plenty of time to dry, and you want to be careful when you set your stamp down, especially if you're using the red rubber, because it could slide, right? It could slide and smear your image. Then set it aside to dry, hit it with your heat gun if you're in a big hurry, to make sure that that gets dry for you before you continue to work with your project. So yes, Butterfly Bouquet is the name of the collection of products, and as usual, everything is available to purchase independently. Of course, we have the bundle at a 10% savings. That would be $54.75 for the bundle. You can get the entire collection for $71.25. And then we have the papers individually as well. And they're just showing the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine there as something that you would use in order to. It's not part of the bundle or the collection or anything. Everything that you see here will be available starting March 2nd. The stamp and the dies will be returning in the annual catalog in May at the bundle price. But these two papers, right, the beautiful 6x6 and the Natural Touch Wood Grain, will not. They are exclusive to this pre-launch, and they are only while supplies last. So if you are thinking about it, and especially this paper, I would recommend grabbing it on March 2nd or very shortly thereafter. I'm not sure how much of this Stampin' Up! Has gotten in, but I know that it is one of the most popular items out of the collection that I've been sharing with my customers, and I expect that it may sell out quickly. So if you do not have a demonstrator in the US that you are currently working with, I would love to help you. Here is my website and my hostess code for March. You're welcome to go on there, place an order for the Butterfly collection or any products. You'll get a welcome thank you gift from me for doing that. And that is, of course, only if you don't have a demonstrator in the US that you're currently working with. All right, let me show you the project that we're going to make. So this is my final sneak peek, obviously, for the set or for the collection. And actually, I'm just using one of those pretty pre-printed butterflies in the designer series paper. The other products that I brought in include Positive Thoughts. This is one of my favorite stamp sets out of the current annual catalog. Of course, you can see all of the images. Here's the greenery that we're using. Has some great greetings in it. The dies are really nice as well because we have a die for every stamped image. So we can cut them all out. But we also, as we do so often, have extra dies. We have a center for the flower. We have another leaf in addition to the one that we can cut out. We have a little accent image. Tiny little butterfly, so cute. I should go back and add him to that maybe. Another little piece of greenery, of course our greenery die, and this pretty frame, right, that has the polka dot, or not polka dot, but dotted or stitched pattern around the edge. So we're going to use that. Some of the other products that I brought in include that beautiful Blushing Bride ribbon. Now that is in the current January through June mini catalog. And it's in the Love You Always suite. I believe that starts on page 11. But I don't know if you've seen it in person or not, and hopefully you can see it on the camera. It's really sparkly and shiny. As a matter of fact, this side is a little rough to the touch because of that sparkle and the threads that are used in it to create that effect. And then on the back, it's more of a satin. You still see some sparkle, but the feel and the look of it is more of a satin style ribbon. So as I said, this is in the January through June in the Love You Always suite. I also brought in some of our gold hoops. This is not how they come packaged. This is simply how I store them after I've opened the package. And these are part of the Forever Greenery suite that's in the annual catalog. I believe that starts on page 108. And I think you get 10 gold hoops for $7.50, I think it is. So that's a pretty good deal. All right, let me grab my goodie bag here with all my paper in it. I have a piece of our thick basic white. We're just going to fold that in half and crease it at 5.5. I did pre-score it with my paper trimmer. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to bring in the Flirty Flamingo, which is 5 1/4 by 4. Put that on the card front. And then this paper that I used was from the 6x6 Subtles pack of paper. It's the one that has the effect of wood grain on it. But when I went to recreate the project, I realized I didn't have any more of that. So I moved over to the Prized Peony Suite. So this is out of the Prized Peony Designer Series paper. It is the petal pink again. A little bit of a mottled look, kind of rough, you know, mimics, not exactly, but it gives you the same effect as the paper from the Subtles. So I think this will work just fine. This piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. But you absolutely do not have to worry about writing these down. The measurements and supplies will all be listed underneath the video. And while you're there, if you are new to my channel, I'm so thankful that you stopped by today to see what we're up to. But why don't you go ahead and subscribe, click that button, and then click the bell to ring the bell so that you're notified in the future when I have new videos coming up. All right, we're going to bring in our little mini die cut and embossing machine. That is a mouthful, so I call it the Baby Boss. The big die cutting and embossing machine is just the boss, is what I call that. So I call this one the Baby Boss. And the Baby Boss is fabulous because of its size, because it's extremely lightweight. It folds up like the other machine. I love having it just sit on the corner of my table. I will tell you that we have learned or heard from some folks that they have a hard time getting the sandwich to feed through. Stampin' Up! Recommends that if that is happening to you, you stagger your plates. So hopefully you can see plate 1 is up and then the 2 cutting pads are offset. And of course you'd have your cardstock and your die there in the center. I tried that. I still struggled, and I wish I could remember the woman's name. I probably read the comment and never even saw the name. But someone in one of the Stampin' Up! Groups that I belong to said, if you're still having a problem getting this to go through, replace plate 1, the white plate, with plate 3, the light gray plate. And I tried it. It works fabulously. So it is just thick enough, I guess, that you can absolutely get a beautiful cut. I've not had any issues with my cuts. So it goes on the bottom. A cutting pad goes next, or plate 2, right? Then your paper. And I'm trying, even though I have very limited space in here, to kind of put my die on there so it's not squared off to go through the machine, right? There's just a little bit of a slant. I do that with my squares, my rectangles, any long dies, simply to protect it a little bit. It will, it's a little too crooked down here. There we go. It will keep it from bowing, right? When you apply the roller pressure all at one time across the top of a long edge strip, it will start to bow over time. So just by giving it a bit of an angle, it cuts out just fine. It keeps the die safe, and it also reduces the cracking noise that you hear when you roll some of your dies through. I know that can be a little alarming. I had a customer one time starting with her new machine, and of course she put something through and it cracked like crazy, and her husband took it away. It also, of course, put the marks on the plate, and her husband took it away from her and said she couldn't use it again till she talked to me because she'd obviously done something wrong. So no, that's fine. And actually, I love it when I can see my customers are using their die cutting system because of all the marks on their plates, right? That's how we know it's being used well. All right, so we are going to put this beautiful gold hoop on here. These are not fully rounded like I would have expected before I got them. Both the front and the back sides are flat. So it allows you to take some liquid glue or green glue. And I'm going to start it off my paper here just a second. There we go. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here. Okay, I've become the age where I have to take my glasses on and off so that I can see what I'm doing. You don't want a lot because you definitely don't want this to gush everywhere. And that's my technical term for you today. Make sure you add that to your repertoire, gush. Of course, I'll bet some of you already use that term, huh? All right, so we've got some glue on there, good enough to hold us in place. And we are going to put this down right about there. Okay. Then I did mention, I think, or maybe I didn't, but I did go ahead and cut out our greenery prior to coming on. It's kind of the magic of television, right? I know I have another one. There it is. So what I'm going to do with these, I am going to trim the stems off just because I'm not sure where they're going to fall in the pattern. So I want to make sure I don't have any pointy stems sticking out. And we're going to add a little bit of glue on the top now to put our greenery on. I did stamp this piece in Pear Pizzazz. I think that is such a pretty green for spring, right? We're going to add just a couple of mini dimensionals. Oh, there, I rang the bell. How about that? Just a couple of mini dimensionals on the back of this one to help hold it into place. If you don't want that, you could absolutely put a little bit more of the liquid glue on there and it would be fine. I don't know what I did before the take your pick tool, especially for these little guys. I don't know about you, but my fingers are not that little. And this makes it so easy to get those paper backings off. Of course, the paper backings end up everywhere. Again, I have cats, and usually the paper backings are on their backs, on their tails, on their nose. They're everywhere. All right, so we're going to bring this Blushing Bride ribbon in. And we're going to add a little seal on the back of our die cut. All the glues want to get on my fingers today. And we're going to wrap this around. I'm going to drop it just a little bit lower. And I'm choosing to use the satin side, right? Okay. Cut that off. And I don't know if I pulled this up or held this up or not. Hopefully you can see that cute little stitched accent that goes the whole way around the frame. Kind of reminds me of a fluttering butterfly. I am going to use my seal and run over the tails that I stuck down on the back, just kind of a safety guard to help hold them in place. Sometimes they like to let go. Although not so much with the seal, I have to say. It is definitely a step up from our old adhesive as far as tackiness goes. We're going to put that right in the center of our piece. And then nobody needs to watch me make a bow. I don't know, they're not my favorite things, but I make a lot of them. And so I went ahead and did a bow in advance. Now you can see that I twisted the ribbon so that I had only satin showing, right? And the way I do that is I start out with the satin side up, bring this around, and then I twist it back here. And so when I push it through, I'm pushing the satin side through as well. And then you can play with it and manipulate it however you want to get the bow, the ears, whatever we want to call those loops, get them the size that you want But that's how you do double-sided ribbon, right? You just twist it in the back before you put the second loop through, and then you get a fully satin. Or you could do it the opposite way and get a fully sparkle bow. All right, so I'm going to put that on with some glue dots. Time to tear some paper off. I usually take the piece that I'm wanting to glue to my project to the glue dot, right? And then just press it down on the glue dot and then press it down on my project. I want that to sit right there. Okay. All right, so now we're basically down to embellishing. We're going to take one of those beautiful butterflies. And remember, I said all I'm going to do is run this through the die cutting machine. My tip for you in lining this up, if you are cutting a larger image that might have multiple pieces in it, like this one does, I line it up at 3 spots. And I don't care which 3 spots you pick. So I'm going to line it up so that my little pink guy is aligned correctly up here. This little pink guy looks pretty good, and I just have to tweak it just a little bit down here to get our Midnight Muse lined up. And then I'll run that through the large die cutting machine because obviously it's too big for the mini. And I'll get all of those pieces die cut. So again, by the magic of TV, I have those little guys all cut out. The thing I love about that is not only do I have my pink one that I need for our project today, but I have all these that I can then hang on to, and when I'm ready to create the next time, I'm all ready to go. I've got lots of options. You can also, you know, I said I loved the back of that paper. You could cut a piece of one of the detailed dies out in colored cardstock and mount it and still have a little bit of the back showing if you wanted to do it that way. It's a tough decision because they're really, really pretty. They're really, really pretty. All right, so we are going to add him to our project with some seal. I got a little bit, I got one of the sparkly strands of the ribbon in there. Let's see if I can shake that out. Yes. So there is our butterfly. And then I brought in the Elegant Faceted Gems. So I believe these are also part of the Prized Peony Suite in the annual catalog, but they were perfect with all of our pinks that we have going on here. So we're just going to take a few of these and scatter them. I always do my embellishments in odd numbers, so either 1, 3, 5. If you get 5, I really like you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, and then one down here, right? And then anytime I find myself, after I've cut my designer series paper, having a leftover piece. This one's a little too short, so I probably won't do this. But I will, you know what, I am going to do that, because that will tie the card front together, and it just adds a little accent on the inside of our project. Now, I'm going to leave this blank today. It's nice sometimes to have cards like this just blank, waiting for whatever you want, whatever your need is, right? Because this could be a birthday card, it could be a thinking of you card, it could be a sympathy card, it could even be a congratulatory card. So it really is a very versatile design, I think. And I keep knocking everything. And I think it's very pretty. So here's another one. We just did this one last night at our, Friday night at our team meeting. That was not last night at all. But this is one of the die cuts, right? So you can see how that looks. Now I didn't back that on anything. I simply put a Magenta Madness oval behind it that I did emboss with the subtle embossing folder. And then this is the die from the Fluttering Butterfly set in the January through June. Not the die, the stamp from the January through June catalog. So you can combine your butterflies together to make some really pretty cards. But I hope you liked that today, guys. If you did, give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Again, if you're new to my channel, I'd love for you to subscribe and ring that bell. And if you need a demonstrator, don't have one in the US that you're working with, I'd love to help you on your stamping journey. Just reach out to me, or you're welcome to put an order in, as I said, on my website. And there's my March hostess code. Thanks again. I'll be back next Monday with another Make It Monday. Hope you enjoyed this one. Take care, everyone. Bye.